KABC TV Los Angeles, #1 for news and information. This is Eyewitness News with Harold Green, Lisa McCree, Johnny Muffin with weather, and Tom Donahoe sports. Now live, Channel 7 Eyewitness News at 5.
A 2-year-old is dead. His foster parents are being questioned. Is it a case of child abuse? Good afternoon. I'm Harold Green.
And I'm Lisa McCree. Here's the latest at 5.
Mystery surrounding the tragic death of a foster child at this hour. His foster parents say he fell out of a rocking chair. But little Cameron Demery appears to have died of massive head injuries. An investigation is now underway. Eyewitness News reporter Adrian Alpert live in Paramount with the very latest on this story. Adrian.
Harold, for now, the district attorney has declined to press charges against the foster parents, pending further investigation and an autopsy. Now, this story is a tragedy all around about siblings taken from a home with a history of violence, including one case where the father shot and wounded the mother while she held her babies. The Miller's home in Metropolitan Mobile Estates is filled with the kind of toys and play equipment expected from a couple licensed as foster parents since 1981. The news they were arrested 5 days ago on suspicion of felony child abuse stunned the Department of Children and Family Services.
Clearly, it shocks the people in this department, and especially in the region where these children were placed.
2-year-old Cameron Demery was hospitalized with head trauma Friday. He and his twin sister had been in the Miller's care. Yesterday, his biological mother was filled with tears as she spoke to Eyewitness News about being at Cameron's bedside when life support was stopped. The twins were taken from Jackie Bishop and placed with the Millers in December. County officials can describe in general terms the circumstances for the twins' placement in foster care.
They were removed simply because we were able to determine that these children were at risk of harm. And that was based on a number of factors, among them including violence in the home and a history of drug abuse.
Twin Carissa has been removed to an undisclosed new foster home. The father, Howard Demery, is in prison on felony burglary conviction. Bishop had been living in a recovery house, but today the biological parents have spoken by phone. Though they are now divorced, we're told they have united in their pursuit to find out what happened to Cameron. The county described the Millers as model foster parents with training far exceeding state requirements.
From what we can tell, there's nothing that this comes up and says, wait, we should have seen this, because you have at least from what we can tell, a model foster home, a person who's active in her association. She's not isolated. She has training. The social work visitations were right up to where they were supposed to be, and these children were seeing a physician on a regular basis. They were receiving medical care.
And finally, Jackie Bishop's family has set up a trust fund to help with Cameron's burial when his body is released back to his biological family. Reporting live from Paramount, Adrian Alpert, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Lisa, back to you.
All right, thanks, Adrian. A Costa Mesa mother faces charges of child endangerment tonight. Police say she left her young son home alone overnight, and while he was sleeping, the house caught fire. Eyewitness News reporter Rick Romero has details. He is live in Costa Mesa. Rick.
Well, Lisa, it is truly amazing that this 9-year-old boy got out of this burning house last night. Adam Mayfield, as you said, was asleep in his bed. He was home alone, except for his pet dog, Saber, who was with him and probably saved the boy's life.
The boy breaks the window and he jumped right here, and the dog saved his life because he was walking like that, and he heard the noise and he
knocked my door.
He knocked the
Which
door.
window?
That one.
Take me over there. That was a neighbor boy whose family was awakened by cries of help from 9-year-old Adam Mayfield after he got out of the burning house on Hamilton Street in Costa Mesa last night. Adam was home alone while his mother, 45-year-old Joan Lynn Opperman, and her boyfriend were celebrating her birthday. The power was turned off at the home because they were behind in paying their bills. A weekly garage sale was about their only source of income. Candles and a gas lantern were being used to light and heat the house. Investigators believe those items caused the fire that tore through the wood frame house in minutes. Adam barely got out through his bedroom window, and when police arrived, they found him standing outside in horror.
He was telling the police officers that were there when he thought she was in there, and of course the officers said the fire was so intense they could not have gone back into the house.
But as it turned out, his mom was gone, returning home about 2:15. Joan Opperman was then arrested for child endangerment.
It's just not right, because after a tragedy like this,
Obviously, Adam's been through a lot. You know, so it's not right to just go and separate them. Make her out to be the bad lady, the bad mom, the bad parent, when she's been there for Adam all the way through everything.
Now, that was Adam's mother's boyfriend who was with her last night. Right now, Adam is with Child Protective Services at the Orangewood Children's Home in the city of Orange. Reporting live from the city of Costa Mesa, this is Rick Romero, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Rick, thanks for the update. An unusual story here. A pregnant woman is hospitalized after her husband had shot her. The Woodland Hills man tells police he thought she was a burglar. Eyewitness News reporter Maria Solis has that story for us now live. Maria?
Well, Harold, police are saying at this point, rather, the shooting does appear to be accidental, and they have no reason to believe otherwise. The investigation is still ongoing, but at this point, as we mentioned, it looks as though Floyd Green will not be charged with anything. The shooting happened about 2 o'clock last night at Green's home in Woodland Hills. His wife, Susan Gonzalez, who is several months pregnant, had gotten up to get a drink of water. The husband, hearing a noise and seeing a figure in the doorway, grabbed his gun. According to police, Green sleeps with his 9mm semi-automatic pistol. He grabbed the gun and fired, hitting his pregnant wife once in the shoulder. She is hospitalized in stable condition, and she is expected to make a full recovery.
Obviously, people have a right to have guns in their own homes and protect themselves, but there's a certain amount of responsibility that goes along with it. You have to find out what you're doing before you start shooting. You have to ask questions first.
And he never said anything to the figure in the doorway? She never said anything to him that we know of?
No, there was no conversation. He was not aware of who it was. He admits that he panicked and made a mistake and feels very bad about it from all appearances. He grabbed a gun and shot and struck her.
The wife corroborates her husband's story. That is, according to police, she believes that this is also an accident. Luckily, nothing more tragic turned from this. She is in stable condition, expected to make a full recovery, and her pregnancy was not affected by the shooting. Reporting live, Maria Solis, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks, Maria. Well, it started out as a domestic dispute this morning, escalated into a police chase that ended in a dramatic suicide on the Santa Monica freeway. The man who killed himself when he couldn't escape pursuing police was identified as 46-year-old Soon Uyi of Los Angeles. Eyewitness News reporter Maggie Rodriguez has that story.
This is how the pursuit ended, with the suspect lying dead on the Santa Monica freeway downtown. It began here at this apartment building in Koreatown with a call to police about a man with a gun. Apparently, a couple had been involved in a dispute. The man reportedly fired shots into the woman's apartment. He set her car on fire and then started to leave the scene just as officers arrived.
They observed the vehicle and a pursuit ensued into the eastbound Santa Monica freeway, the 10 freeway. During the course of the pursuit, the officers observed a male occupant of the vehicle waving a gun and pointing it at his head.
Police chased him as he reportedly swerved from lane to lane, hitting several vehicles along the way, and eventually losing control and coming to a stop near the Alameda Street off-ramp.
The officers deployed, and as they approached the vehicle, they observed the suspect slumped over motionless, and he appeared to be suffering from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head.
While police investigated, that stretch of the freeway remained closed. All eastbound traffic was diverted, causing a major backup at the peak of the morning rush hour. After the coroner's office removed the victim's body, the freeway was reopened at about 10 o'clock this morning. Investigators still don't know if the suspect shot himself while still driving and then lost control, or if he decided to do it after he'd already come to a stop. In downtown Los Angeles, Maggie Rodriguez, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Another high-speed pursuit, this one in Orange County, ended with the suspect being critically wounded by police. This incident began when the man refused to pull over for a routine traffic violation in Anaheim. The suspect raced away for a 20-minute pursuit, leading authorities through Anaheim, Buena Park, and Cypress. It finally ended near the corner of Lincoln and Moody. Police say the man opened fire. Officers fired back, wounding the suspect. No police officers were hurt.
Harold, the widow of a police officer killed in the line of duty this week suffers a second tragedy. 24-year-old Leslie Simons, the mother of a 7-month-old daughter, lost her husband Sunday. Long Beach police officer Carl Simons was killed when his patrol car collided with another car while he was responding to an auto theft call. Officer Simons was the first Long Beach police officer to die in the line of duty in 15 years. Well, yesterday, Mrs. Simons' mother, 44-year-old Leslie Karen Fotts, died at Whittier Community Hospital. They tell us from cardiac arrest. Funeral services for the police officer are Friday, and services for Fotts are pending.
Still to come for us on Eyewitness News, parents who go out of their way to help school children in their neighborhood receive a special honor.
And 13 years after her death, fans of Karen Carpenter finally get a chance to hear her never-released solo album. Don't go away.
Closed captioning is brought to you as a public service by the makers of new Accid AR. Accid AR says right on its labeling, it can prevent heartburn completely.
Tomorrow morning on ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
I'm Gene Gleason. DHEA, it's the hottest thing in health stores, but what can it do for you?
I'm Alicia Lee, getting ready to face the freeway tomorrow morning. Newscopter 7 will track the trouble spots for you.
I'm Johnny Mountain. Will your Thursday morning be fair or foggy? Join us at 5:36 and 6:30 for Eyewitness News.
It's all tomorrow on Eyewitness News at 5:30, 6, and 6:30 a.m. only on ABC 7.
We're pleased to announce the newest high-performance statement from Dodge. A sport coupe that sports a multi-valve double overhead cam engine, 5-speed manual transmission, 4-wheel independent suspension, fog lamps, rear spoiler, and air conditioning. And with 150 peak horsepower at no extra charge and $1,000 cash back. For a very cool price, you get one hot little rocket. Say hello to Dodge Neon Sport at your friendly Dodge dealer.
I'll tell you, children, how it was before the skies were freed. To fly somewhere you needed wealth, it was a luxury. Then Southwest Airlines came along and democratized the skies. Now every man, woman, and child is free to pack up and fly. Somewhere. One day soon we'll fly to the moon, and that's where you need to be. Now we gotta get back to business, boys. Setting the country free.
You know, Halloween's coming up, and this year, while you're getting ready for Halloween, you can get a real jump on Thanksgiving. All you have to do is spend $300 at Vaughn's before the end of October, and you'll earn a big Thanksgiving turkey free. Just swipe your Vaughn's Club card every time you shop, and when you hit $300, we'll send you a certificate good for that turkey. Now that's a value that could put a smile on any face.
It looks like you, Papa.
The Los Angeles Unified School District is implementing a couple of new programs to ensure the safety of children on their way to and from school. Eyewitness News reporter Leslie Seiss is in front of Esperanza Elementary, where the programs were announced today. Leslie?
Well, Lisa, this is the latest effort by the LAUSD and the LAPD to keep kids safe while they're walking to and from school. Now, these programs are unique because they rely heavily on parental involvement and help from community residents. Both programs are designed to keep students safe on their way to and from school by involving local residents and parents. Officials say vandalism and theft are the top two problems in the district schools, costing millions of dollars.
We have serious problems with vandalism. We have some problems with graffiti. And what we're asking our public to do, basically, as our system is becoming more and more decentralized, we're asking our public to come back to their local school and be a part of that school community. They own that school, and we want them to help safeguard it, especially during downtime, like weekends and evenings, when oftentimes we're hit with types of vandalism.
One program is the Neighborhood School Watch effort, in which special signs have been posted at all schools to encourage neighbors to keep an eye out for suspicious activity. This could also be helpful in situations where molesters have preyed on school children, as in the case of the South Bay molester, who made headlines several months ago but was never caught. The second program, called Safe Houses, involves residents making their homes available and providing a place of refuge for students in case of emergencies.
They will see this placard prominently displayed. They will know that if there's some sort of problem, whether they're being threatened, whether they're ill or injured, that they can go to that location and those people will call for them, either the police, call an ambulance, that will take care of them. We're not asking them to be doctors or asking them to be crime fighters. We're asking them to be a safe harbor.
School officials say they already have 5 safe houses in place right now. They hope to have between 40 and 50 by the end of the year. Reporting live, I'm Leslie Sykes, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Sounds like a great idea, Leslie. Thanks. In Chicago, an 8-year-old boy is being threatened with expulsion from school because his mother refuses to dress him in the school's uniform. Adam Levon has already been suspended 3 times this year for showing up in pullover and jeans rather than the school's mandatory blue and white outfit.
I don't think that any generation of children needs to be labeled as gangbangers or troublemakers, and especially not based on what they wear.
Now, Mrs. Levon says being forced to buy her son new clothes conflicts with her Christian tradition of waste not, want not. But the school says the policy does not violate religious beliefs. An expulsion decision is expected tomorrow.
Coming up on Eyewitness News at 5, we'll go live to Santa Monica, where a jury is about to be seated in the next O.J. Simpson trial.
Prize season tickets, once belonging to a deadbeat dad, are auctioned off to the highest bidder. Don't go away.
Ruben, when you're not checking baggage, do you ever check out the Pacific Bell Smart Yellow Pages?
Oh, yes.
Can you think of anything that's not in there?
Hey, what about Santa Claus's telephone number?
Oh, you think there is no Santa Claus, huh? Look, under Santa Claus Services. Ha.
Oh, man.
There are several numbers for Santa. I guess if you call this one, he brings along the missus. Admit it, Ruben, it's all in here.
It's all.
Even Santa's phone number.
I really thought I had you guys.
Yeah, nice try, Ruben. But if it's not in here, it probably doesn't exist.
Mandy's basically an A and B student. I don't like quitting things. Somewhere along the line, her math grades started slipping.
I thought, well, if I try hard enough, I might be able to get it.
She was hanging in there to try to maintain her B average.
I just needed more help.
So I called Sylvan.
Sylvan really did help me.
Through enrichment classes in Sylvan,
I got a 95.
I think it's great.
Sylvan Learning Center. Better grades are just the beginning. Call 1-800-EDUCATE. That's 1-800-EDUCATE.
All out Pontiac close out! It's happening now at your Pontiac dealers, and we're going all out to give you the biggest selection and the most excitement. Like this Pontiac Grand Am with dual airbags, anti-lock brakes, air conditioning, cassette, and automatic. These exciting Pontiac Grand Ams are going fast, so don't wait. Hurry to the all-out Pontiac closeout. See your Southern California Pontiac dealer today. We are driving excitement!
Everywhere you look these days, there's another place promising ridiculously low prices and making other claims about brake jobs. But don't be fooled. Midas beats competitors day after day, and you'll get Midas brake shoes or pads guaranteed for as long as you own your car. For great values and prices, come to Midas.
This is good. This is better. Like Coco's new Shrimp Fest, featuring 5 different delicious shrimp dinners, starting from just $7.99. Coco's Bakery Restaurant, just a little bit better.
Jury selection continued today in Santa Monica for the O.J. Simpson civil trial, and the wrangling among the attorneys also continued. Eyewitness News reporter John North outside the courthouse with the very latest for us now. John?
Harold, they're close. There is tension and drama in the courtroom whenever the challenges start. Each side is limited. The choices they make are critical, and each side has accepted the jury at least once. It's arguably the most important part of the trial. The makeup of the jury can determine the outcome of the case. In court, Simpson scribbled notes and talked with his attorneys during the early stages of questioning until it was time for the tension-filled peremptory challenges, the final act of jury selection. One juror challenged by victims' families was a 40-something black woman who apparently was a victim of a notorious criminal some 20 years ago, the pillowcase rapist.
She said she could put that aside and not let it interfere with her feelings in this case.
The plaintiffs exercised one of their peremptory challenges on the woman, and she was dismissed. Each side gets 8 challenges, and it's a tension-filled time. The first 4 exercised by the plaintiffs were for black jurors. Defense attorney Bob Baker immediately challenged the dismissals in a meeting in the judges' chambers. When that happens, the other side has to show that the dismissals are not based on race.
It's against the law to challenge or strike a juror based on their race.
When the attorneys emerged from the judges' chambers, a white prospective juror was placed in the box. Then the defense dismissed a young white woman who is a paralegal and expressed concern about community reaction to any jury verdict. Baker's questions earlier focused on whether jurors could accept the defense that evidence was planted or contaminated by police. That, of course, is the core of Simpson's case. When one juror said she could not accept the idea that police would plant evidence, she was excused. So it is possible the 12 jurors can be seated tomorrow, but even if they are, it's not over. There are still 8 alternates to be picked, but the target is opening statements sometime next week. Live from Santa Monica, John North, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks, John. In Sacramento today, hundreds rallied at the state capitol, for the repeal of Smog Check 2. Now, that's that tough new anti-smog program that will require drivers to fix their polluting cars no matter what the cost. Inside, lawmakers grilled state air quality officials about the program, saying Californians deserve an apology.
We were trying to get those folks to make sure they got fixed because they were polluting and they were getting certificates that they were not supposed to get. But what's happening now is people that would have passed under the previous system are now failing under this system, and I know that's not what the legislature intended.
The program is scheduled to become fully operational in January.
Johnny Mountain joins us with a preview of the forecast now. Everything coming up 7s. Let's go to Vegas.
We're ready to go. We're taking our chances out there as we've had some cool weather. We'll tell you all about it. Plus, maybe some rain after this.
ABC Tonight. Lucy? No, it's Ellen, and she's pulling out all the stops to recreate her parents' honeymoon. Maybe she's pulled out too many stops. Then Drew's at a special time. Mimi's been sent to the basement for wearing too much makeup.
You can adjust. Just cut it down to 1 coat.
Now she's become the phantom of the office.
Welcome to Mimi Soft. Download this.
Just Drew it at a special time, ABC Tonight.
It all starts tonight at 8, right here on ABC 7.
Picture this. People who love and depend on you. But what if you weren't around? I'm Christine Lund. 1 out of 9 women develops breast cancer, but with early detection, you have a tremendous advantage. As sponsors of Women's Health Month, ABC 7 in Mervyn's, California, have information about detection tests every woman can afford. For a free women's health directory, stop by any Mervyn's, California store. You could be the picture of health.
Ralph's knows that being first means doing things other supermarkets don't. That's why Ralph's is the only supermarket that guarantees our fresh California brand beef will be more tender and flavorful, or you get double your money back. And now, with over 260 stores across Southern California alone, Ralph's bigger buying power means more savings for you. This week, fresh USDA Select California brand premium ground beef is just 87 cents a pound. That's why more people shop Ralph's than any other supermarket.
Right now, Carson Toyota has made it easier than it's ever been for you to own a new Camry.
Not just any Camry, the all-new, totally redesigned 97 Camry. And you'll pay only, are you ready for this, $97 a month. That's right, only $97 a month puts you in the new 97 Camry with air conditioning. And Carson Toyota has a huge selection, so don't miss out.
Carson Toyota, just off the 405 freeway at the Wilmington exit in Carson.
Can you tell me how to get to Corbett Street?
Corbett Street, yeah, sure.
Are you lost? Yeah, sort of.
He's looking for Corbett Street.
Better give him the shortcut.
It's longer. The shortcut is not a good idea. No, he shouldn't take the shortcut.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Want a straight answer? Bank of America has instant answers on most
Did I
loans.
say left? I meant go right.
You apply, you get an answer in one call.
Ever tell you about Eli Corbett, fella they named the road after?
Banking on America. Bank of America.
Johnny Mountain joins us now with the forecast, and he's excited because there's some weather out there just waiting to happen.
The strongest storm that we've had here in the West yet this year is going to happen this weekend. And we're going to tell you all about it. So, outside we go. We've been having some low clouds, and we've had a lot of clouds for most of the week, and it ends up in the afternoon, kind of a hazy kind of sky that we're getting, and also a plethora of information that you just saw, but we'll straighten it out for you right now. Hazy light conditions, 73 degrees, humidity at 64%, the winds from the west at 14 miles per hour, the pressure is 29.91. Here's what we were trying to show you. Our high, 73, the low, 62, not even a record, of course, and sunrise, 7 o'clock in the morning, that would be tomorrow morning, and 6:17, our sunset. And speaking of some temps around the state, this is the way we're looking. Sacramento and San Francisco, 73 and 64 degrees. Up in Reno, we're looking at 54. Over in Vegas, 81. Palm Springs on 95, and Phoenix 90. Salt Lake City, 51. Okay. Now, how about that trip in the Atlantic? Well, here's what's happening right now off the Mexican coast. Here is Mexico right here. Here is Florida. We have Texas here and a tropical storm. This is Tropical Storm Lily. Should be a hurricane, could be a hurricane by possibly tomorrow. What is involved is there's a lot of water here that's warm. What's warm? Well, more than 80 degrees, 82, 83, maybe even 84 degrees in some of the areas where the water's not that deep. So this is beginning to cook. It's supposed to move through Cuba and then just touch the Keys right here at the end of Florida, right there. That should happen by about late Friday. So we're going to be watching this for you. Still, we're expecting some gusty winds from that. Speaking of gusty winds, the strongest storm this year just now hitting Washington and Oregon. Note right here. Here's the jet stream. Big storm. This is going to bring lots of snow to the Cascades, on out into Idaho, Montana. Already 12 inches of snow in the higher elevations there in Colorado and on up in through Wyoming. This storm system is going to roll on in, and as it does, it'll create a little situation where we'll have rain and snow even into the Sierras, we think, maybe even into our area by the weekend. I'm afraid so. We're going to be looking at it. We'll take a look at the 5-day coming up in just a bit. Right now, some of the clouds being pulled off the top of all that moisture down around the Gulf area and over Florida and over Cuba right now, and also the islands out here, as we have Barbados with some clouds cover and also some gusty winds and some rain out of that. Much of the eastern part and the central part of the nation looking good today, even though we're expecting some cool-like temperatures, and here comes the rain across the northern part tomorrow, both in the midsection of the country and to the west. Now, in speaking of the overnight low temperatures, 50s, 40s, and 60s all across the nation, and for our highs tomorrow, 50s and 70s throughout most of the northern section, a patch of 80s down into the southeast. Back out our way, temperatures will be into the 70s most areas. So this gives you some idea of what we're expecting for Thursday and those temperatures. Our overnight low temperatures, Malibu should be about 60, about 58 in Ventura. The high desert about 54, Big Bear 34 degrees, and Palm Springs 65. As we continue to warm up tomorrow with some sunshine, Glendale should be about 80. We'll have about 85 at San Bernardino, and Mission Viejo should be near 80 degrees. In Huntington Beach, right along coastal section, we're looking for 70s. Fog and some low clouds overnight, 61 the low, and our high tomorrow, again, back into the 70s, should be in the upper 70s, breezy along the canyon areas by the afternoon. That's that 25 to 35 mile per hour gust. Also up in some of the mountain areas as well. Here's the 5-day. With that front coming through on Saturday, could have a little sunshine and pick up a little bit of clouds by the evening, maybe a little chance of a drizzle and a light shower on Sunday. We think it's going to stay mainly to the north of us, but we got to put it in the forecast. And notice the temperature is cooling off just a bit.
But you think a light, kind of like when Caltrans leaves the sprinklers on the freeways. You
yeah, one of those. But this is very strong to the north. Now, yeah, this is really going to be a big-time storm up there.
All right.
That's it.
Thank you, Johnny. A protest to save old-growth forests in the Pacific Northwest came to the city today in Portland. Took their fight to downtown Portland this morning, where 2 of the demonstrators climbed an office building demanding Mitsubishi change its logging practices. The Rainforest Action Network is trying to prevent Mitsubishi Company from cutting the old-growth forests in the Pacific Northwest and Canada. 6 protesters were arrested for trespassing.
Still ahead on the 5 o'clock edition of Eyewitness News, is Bob Dole ready to put on the gloves and go after President Clinton tonight? That debate is just a half hour away.
And there's a surprising verdict against a man accused of killing 2 nuns. Stay with us.
I just got back from my class reunion. Drove my brand new Buick LeSabre. We stole the show. I got the Grand Touring package. It's tight, comfortable, safe, terrific car. I see most likely to succeed Carl. He's got a Ford Taurus. So I said, Carl, business not so good, huh?
Find out why LeSabre is the best-selling full-size car in America.
Southern California is gonna see. It's nice to drive a real car again.
Stand by me.
It's never been your style to live like anyone else, so I start now. The American Dimensions collection from Ethan Allen. Eclectic and most agreeably priced. For people who really love to live at home. Right now, there's a sale going on at your local Ethan Allen.
What are 214 and 216 all about? Let's check it out. Government regulation of our health care, costing Californians hundreds of millions in new taxes. Families pay $1,000 more in health insurance premiums every year. And even with all these costs, neither measure will cover more people. That just doesn't add up.
Check it out for yourself. Vote no on 214 and 216.
Whoopi Goldberg stars tonight at 9 on ABC 7.
Eyewitness News at 5 continues with Harold Green, Lisa McCree, Johnny Mountain with weather, and Todd Donahoe sports.
With less than an hour to go, President Clinton and Bob Dole are counting down to tonight's second and final presidential debate. At this hour, both men are in San Diego preparing for their face-to-face showdown. And that's where Eyewitness News reporter Mark Coogan is standing by with this live update for us. Mark, you're on the campus of USD, huh?
We are, and President Clinton and Senator Dole are either here or about to get here at the campus of the University of San Diego. And obviously tonight the pressure is on Senator Dole. And I think most people think they know what he's going to say, because all this week he has been contending that the administration of President Bill Clinton is an unethical administration. But to sustain that attack tonight, he's going to have to do it at a debate format that is a town hall. In other words, questions asked of the candidates by an audience of selected voters here in San Diego County. That audience has been carefully screened by the Gallup poll company, and it certainly is a format where President Clinton excels. Bob Dole took a look at the University Theater for tonight's debate in the round and declared he was ready to challenge President Clinton's ethics face-to-face, even if the president wants to talk about other issues.
That's the trouble with this White House. They don't take any of this seriously. That's the problem. I mean, I think he underscored what the problem is.
President Clinton, meanwhile, arrived in San Diego this morning and said he was looking forward to tonight's town hall format with questions from the audience.
I'm going to respond to the people who are in the audience. That's the way this is designed, and we'll just see what happens.
No matter what is asked, it is Dole that has the most at stake. There are only 20 days until Election Day.
I don't think it'll be bare knuckles, but I don't think there's any question that this is the night to point out the differences. Bill Clinton's lead has been cut in half in California, and it's some of the other polls I've seen have it down to 8 points. If you're at 8 points with a 5% margin of error, that means this race will be won in California, and either candidate can win it now.
I don't think the American people are interested in negative campaigns, and this is a very intimate atmosphere where you've got people all around him. We'll see whether he brings up those kind of accusations.
For USD students, this week has meant canceled classes and shuttle buses to remote parking lots and time to dissect Campaign 96.
At least people I've talked to don't get excited about slamming someone down. It's more about issues. Yeah. But when I've talked to people my parents' age, they tend to be more impressed with that tactic.
Debates, I always think they're more sort of like an image thing. It's like, well, how does he come off? Does he look good? Does he look like he's stressed? Is he nervous? How's he talking? Is he like quick on his feet type thing? And I think really for the really knowledgeable voter, they kind of already know what the issues are and pretty much know what their stance on everything is.
A lot of us feel that it's more of the party, playing the party. You have to balance out the parties. And so I think that's why Clinton will probably be reelected, because you have to balance out the Republicans in the House. Because if you get one person in there and they control, then it's going to be crazy. But I don't know if either person would individually be that much better than the other one.
This debate marks President Clinton's 28th visit to California since he became president, but this week the Republicans decided to try to make California a battleground state and use the character issue as their avenue of attack. It may have been for lack of better alternatives given the poll standing in other states, but in any event, California apparently is the place, and tonight definitely is the night. Live in San Diego, this is Mark Coogan, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Now back to you.
Thank you, Mark. I'd like to remind our viewers that you can catch the presidential debate right here on ABC 7 at 6 o'clock tonight. Then at 11, Mark reports live from San Diego with reaction to the debate.
Meanwhile, in the state capitol, state legislators held investigative hearings today on Prop 209. That ballot measure calls for banning racial and gender preferences in public hiring, contracting, and education. The fact-finding hearing was held to learn whether the state's universities and administrators are adhering to state laws. Now, down in San Diego, all the while, hundreds of people turned out to listen to the Reverend Jesse Jackson speak out against the proposition.
The most beneficiaries of affirmative action are white women. The biggest beneficiary has been the white family, y'all.
Proposition 209 is the most controversial measure on the November ballot.
A pathologist hired by the defense is under fire in the Charles Rathbun murder trial. Prosecutors call the doctor a fraud and question his conclusions. Eyewitness News reporter Tricia Takasugi joining us live from Torrance Superior Court with that story. Trish?
Well, Harold, the reason that witness came under fire by the prosecution is because Dr. David Posey has disputed the prosecution's theory that Linda Sobek was strangled by Charles Rathbun, and today that very witness disputed just some of the injuries that she had sustained prior to her death. Now, thus far, all of this doctor's testimony has backed up the defense theory that Linda Sobek's death could have been accidental. Now, today, Dr. David Posey, an independent forensic pathologist, told the jury that he thought it was highly unlikely that Linda Sobek had been sodomized with a handgun the way a prosecution witness had previously theorized. But the prosecution says their evidence is stronger.
I think Dr. Sauter's explanation is the best I've heard. And, you know, it was kind of interesting that here she describes the gun without seeing it, the same type of gun that he was arrested with. It's taken to the crime lab Monday morning and tested, and it comes back presumptive positive for blood in an area that would be hard to clean, kind of a grid area under the barrel.
Now, Linda Sobek's family was in court, but they were not convinced by the doctor's testimony, and they talked about how difficult it is for them to listen about the various theories of just how Linda died.
It's my opinion that my daughter looked pretty bad.
And she's gone, and she's not here to defend herself and tell you exactly what did happen. And
right, and so maybe we'll find out exactly what happened when the monster on the end of the table takes the stand.
Well, we know one thing for sure, it was no accident.
Now, Charles Rathbun is expected to take the witness stand in his own defense as early as tomorrow morning, and according to his attorney, he is looking forward to his day in court, and he will be telling the jury that he had consensual sex with model Linda Sobek and that the model's death was an accident. Reporting live in Torrance, Tricia Takasugi, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks very much, Trish. At Purdue University, a story that's been unfolding all day. An armed student who shot and apparently killed a dorm counselor has now shot and killed himself. That student reportedly shot the counselor after the counselor turned him into police for having cocaine in his possession. Police say the shooting took place in the counselor's room in the men's dorm on the Indiana campus. The entire area was evacuated. No one else, they tell us, was hurt. Again, one Purdue student, one counselor dead. The SWAT team found the student in his dorm room where he had barricaded himself.
A man accused of beating 4 nuns and killing 2 of them has been found not guilty by reason of insanity. Mark Picard, a former mental patient in Maine, was charged with breaking into a convent last January and bludgeoning his victims with a statue of the Virgin Mary. One of the sisters who survived the attack called the verdict a wise decision, something she said she thought quite a bit about.
We are sad for everyone and pray that healing and that wholeness can be restored once again for all those who were affected by this tragedy.
Beckard's lawyer argued that he was schizophrenic and didn't understand what he did. The judge ordered the 38-year-old man committed to a mental hospital for an indefinite period.
The legality of buffer zones that have been ordered between anti-abortion demonstrators and patients at clinics will be reviewed by the Supreme Court. 2 years ago, the Supreme Court established these 15-foot buffer zones to keep activists from harassing patients at an abortion clinic. But lawyers representing anti-abortion demonstrators today said their clients have a First Amendment right to speak their minds.
The test is, does the activity or does the provision of the injunction burden more speech than necessary? The answer in this case, it has to.
The Supreme Court says it will issue a ruling by next July.
The National Transportation Safety Board is recommending that all Boeing 737s have upgraded safety equipment installed to guard against rudder failure. The recommendations include a change in rudder design and new training for pilots on how to handle unexpected movements. The NTSB recommendations follow a series of unexplained 737 crashes, including a U.S. air crash near Pittsburgh 2 years ago, in which all 132 people on board were killed. There are 2,800 737s currently in use around the world.
Well, ahead on Eyewitness News, a former member of the Los Angeles Rams admits he tried to have a federal judge killed.
And a woman boxer is being trained by a former heavyweight champion. Sports is next.
280 horsepower Lincoln Mark 8. Tempted?
When the people at GMC came up with value pricing for their 8-passenger Safari van, they looked at what the competition offered and took it one step further. Load the standard Safari van with not-so-standard equipment, like a powerful V6, air conditioning front and rear, power locks, power windows, luggage rack, and much more. And at just $22,453, we're out to prove we're putting value on the road like never before. Safari, for times when life is too big for a minivan. See your Southern California GMC dealer today.
You know, in all the years I've worked at Fast Frame, I've never seen anything like it. It's obviously the work of a forceful colorist reminiscent of early Cezanne. Look at these impastos. I suggest an acid-free conservation quality 3-inch linen mat that enhances this area. I'll do the framing myself, of course. This one's a masterpiece.
Fast Frame has over 50 Southern California locations. See your yellow pages.
This isn't one of those fancy, avant-garde, barely have to fill your plate, let alone your stomach kind of offers. Are you ready? Get set. Go. There, it starts. The Tony Roma's Endless Slab. All the tender, juicy ribs you can eat for one great price. But remember, know when to say when. The Endless Slab. It's all the ribs you can eat, but it won't last forever. Tony Roma's. Famous for ribs, and ribs, and ribs, and ribs, and ribs, and ribs.
Ex-Rams defensive back Darrell Henley has pleaded guilty this afternoon to trying to arrange the murder of his ex-girlfriend and a judge. 30-year-old Henley was convicted of cocaine trafficking last year. Today, he admitted he tried to hire a hitman to kill the judge in his drug trial, along with the prosecution's star witness, former Rams cheerleader Tracy Donahoe. Even with good behavior, the former UCLA star will be at least 66 years old by the time he gets out of prison. Sentencing is scheduled for January 13th.
Todd Donahoe steps in with tonight's sports, and let me be the first to say it, the kid is ready to play for the Lakers.
This should be interesting. You know, I think Laker fans have certainly looked forward to seeing what Shaquille O'Neal was going to do in a Lakers uniform, but how about an 18-year-old kid coming out of high school, fresh out of high school, playing in the NBA? Kobe Bryant makes his debut tonight. Preseason basketball for the Lakers in Fresno. They're taking on the Dallas Mavericks. Of course, Kobe has not been able to play so far because he broke his wrist in a pickup game a couple of months ago, but he plays tonight, and we'll get a chance to see how he looks. Flyers left winger Daniel Lacroix has been suspended by the NHL for this vicious elbow to the head of Kevin Stevens during last night's Kings game. Stevens got a cut in his mouth and a neck strain. The NHL will hold a hearing tomorrow to decide how long that suspension will be. Meanwhile, the Mighty Ducks have their home opener tonight, and it's about time. They started the season with the 5 games on the road, 5-game road trip. They're 1-2-2. Good to work out on the home ice.
8 nights, 5 games, so it was really tough schedule, but I think it was a pretty good road trip, and we have a lot of confidence. There'll be 4 or 5 new faces in the lineup tonight, and essentially we're the same team. I think we're a little bit faster than we were at the end of last season. The obvious difference is Paul won't be playing tonight, and we're looking forward to his return in the next couple of weeks.
Paul, of course, being Paul Correa, 50-goal scorer of last year. He's out with an abdominal strain, doing a lot of rehab, but it's really not known when he'll be back. And when you score 50 goals in one season, you need that guy for the next season. Well, let's talk about the National League playoffs. Game in the second inning right now, Game 6 of the playoffs. Of course, the Cardinals lead the series 3-2. This game 0-0 in the second inning. Darryl Strawberry of the Yankees has a fractured toe. He injured it in Sunday's game against the Orioles. Just found a ball down on it. So we say, how's that toe, manager Joe Torre?
It's nothing that has to be operated on or anything like that. It's just something that's going to heal itself. And is, you know, he's still capable of hitting the ball.
Well, the decision will be made on Friday if Strawberry will be ready to go for the World Series. Well, here we go with a high five to a San Francisco 49ers coach, George Seifert, for having the buck stops here attitude. Now, his team lost on Monday Night Football in overtime to the Packers late in regulation. He played it a little conservatively. He went for the field goal instead of going for the touchdown. Of course, the Packers came back and tied it and then won it in overtime, and Seifert takes the blame.
Do I have to eat it now? You bet I do. And I'm going to be, you know, though a lot of people are probably upset about it, and the players included. And so I got to face them just like they have to face me when they make mistakes. you know, it'll be with me for a while, there's no question.
Here we go with a take-a-hike to the ugly incident in Florida high school football this past weekend at Land O'Lakes during the congratulatory handshake. Guess what happened, Roberto Alomar?
When I was walking out, I was pushed, and the guy asked me if I had a problem. I told him no, and then he spit in my face. That's when the player behind me, the 29, pushed him.
Spit in the face, huh? Watching the circle, too, player using their helmet. We'll also tell you that 7 players were suspended after the game. Well, Tommy Morrison is back in the boxing business.
What?
Tommy the Duke
Not in the ring as a boxer, but as a trainer. Last night making his first public appearance in the ring since being forced to retire because he is HIV positive. He was a quarterman in a women's boxing match in Topeka, and, well, he's very high on women's boxing.
Female boxing's really starting to take off these days, and with Christy Martin fighting on the undercard of the Tyson fights, and it's really something that's starting to be a hot item. And a lot of women are really getting interested in it, and the society is very interested in it as well.
Morrison wants to return to boxing for a benefit for AIDS research, so we wonder, where does that comeback stand now?
He's been there.
We've had 5 or 6 pretty good names come forward and want to do it. The main thing is, we've got something possibly working overseas. We've got a couple other things. The main thing we're trying to wait on right now is to secure a pay-per-view date. They're all booked up till mid-December. The Holyfield Tyson thing coming up. Once we secure that, then we'll make a selection of who it is we're going to fight, and we'll come out with a press conference and let everybody know what's going on.
Tommy Morrison wants to fight again, and that's it in sports.
All right. Thanks a lot, Todd. Well, a Midwest farmer is now the proud owner of lifetime season tickets to the Kansas City Chiefs game, and his bid helped a deadbeat dad pay off his debts. Steve Graver was one of many people who turned out to bid on the tickets. The final bid of more than $12,000 will be used by attorneys to pay off another man's delinquent child support payments.
I hope everybody understands that that's the message we're trying to get out. People who don't pay their child support, we're going to take their most important assets if we need to get that money.
And as for Graver, he says he's a lifetime Chiefs fan and now just has to explain to his wife about that little $12,000 check he wrote.
She better get one of those seats. Well, no more rehearsal for Madonna. She's in the spotlight now, playing the biggest part of her life, that of a mother. It's not clear whether Madonna and her daughter, Lourdes, are at home in Los Feliz. I drove by today, couldn't tell. Good Samaritan Hospital isn't confirming or denying her release. However, the Associated Press reports security guards were overheard saying Madonna had snuck out of the hospital last night. Madonna's recuperating now and gaining strength for her upcoming tour to promote Evita, which comes out at Christmas.
Well, on Wall Street, the blue chips led the way to another historic high. Decliners outpaced gainers by 12 to 11, but the Dow Jones still rose 16 points in a late rally, closing at just under 6,021.
Lisa, we're going to take a quick break. We've got a brush fire burning in the Southland. We'll take you to the scene live right after this.
Okay, all Hondas are created equal, right? Wrong.
No way.
Not even close. Only Hondas from the Norm Reeves Honda Superstore come with their exclusive price protection guarantee. It says,
If you could find the same Honda for less,
within 3 days,
Norm Reeves will pay you the difference.
or buy your car back.
That's in every Honda they sell.
Well, that's nice to know.
Super prices, super selection. The Norm Reeves Honda Superstore in the Cerritos Auto Square and also in Huntington Beach.
The new Dodge. Where do you find something that is cool, refreshing, and makes you feel good all over? A few clues.
California's truck stop, Rama-Lama.
You can out-drive, out-hustle, out-tough, out-muscle, out-tow, out-run, out-working, out-fun. Show them what you got. At California's Truck Stop, you can get air conditioning at no extra charge when you buy a new Dodge Ram. Bet that sends a chill through the competition.
California's truck stop.
The new Dodge.
Hi, Rick and my guide dog Jake again, here to announce the first ever half-off offer from AirTouch. Just sign up now and get half off your first 3 months access charge for AirTouch cellular service. Plus, get a free 3-in-1 superphone with a pager and answering machine built in. So now you can get a free phone and half off your monthly access. Of course, you still have to dial the whole phone number, 1-800-AirTouch.
AirTouch Cellular, an easy call to make.
You can forget about worms and lures. Your California fighting fish loves his native cheese, and that is a fact. Well, I caught this beauty here on a nice California cheddar. Yep. This one took Monterey Jack. That big monster there, he hit a ball of mozzarella. Wham! Like to tear the rod right out of my hands. Eat 'em. This one gobbled up some Gouda. Now that one over there.
Wisconsin stuff?
Bingo.
Look for the real California. It's the cheese.
Introducing the 97 Grand Cherokee. Lease one for just $297 a month.
We are right in the midst of our fire season here in the Southland, and we have a major brush fire burning right now in the Hacienda Heights area. Captain Ron is over the scene in Newscopter 7 with the very latest for us. Ron?
Harold, we're looking at that fire right now. Right now we're estimating in the vicinity of 4 to 5 acres that have burned out here, and you can see by our picture here, this is actually would be the northernmost line of this fire, and actually it is burning both to the south and to the north. Now we're just south of the 60 freeway around Azusa Avenue, and we're up into the mountains. Now the wind today is blowing out of the south-southwest, and as you can see by our pictures, that smoke is blowing directly over the wind. Now we're going to have a helicopter probably appear in our scene there. That's a county fire helicopter. We've got both county and city that are out here fighting this fire. Also, we have 2 of the Canadian Super Scoopers. Now, just a few minutes before we arrived on scene, which is just a moment ago, that both of the scoopers had come in here and they had made their drops here. Now, one of the biggest concerns that they do have out here is the fact that, as you can see, this fire is still burning out of control and it is moving towards the houses. In fact, at this point, the houses are no more than, about 1/8 of a mile, maybe a little over 100 yards or so from these houses. Now, we do see through the smoke, we can see quite a bit of fire equipment that is positioned along that street where the houses are threatened. And, in fact, you just saw a drop there. You can see that was a pretty good drop. That was an LA City drop by a LA City helicopter. And you can see that they were able to stop that line right now. And if we could, you can see that the fire is still burning. There is fuel down there. We've got grass and brush in that area, and there are some trees. Now, when those trees light, they make a lot of fire, and they really make this fire spread quite rapidly. We do see some firemen right there in our picture. They're actually wetting down the houses in this area as this fire approaches. They're doing everything that they can to prevent this fire from getting to these houses. Now, we're going to keep watching this situation, and we'll keep you updated as the situation warrants. Reporting live, I'm Captain Ron for ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
All right. Captain Ron, is this near any major freeways? Might this fire or the smoke impair the commute at all?
Not at all. Actually, we're just south of the 60 freeway, but the fire itself is in the mountains. It's just above the top row of houses here in the mountains, but it is burning towards the houses.
Ron, real quick before we let you go, one positive thing we notice here, it appears the houses there are not shake shingle roof. It appears that they are, in fact, tile, if I've got that right, just eyeballing most of these.
And that's correct, Harold. That's what we see mostly from up here.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot, Ron. Well, up next, 13 years after her death, Karen Carpenter's never-released solo album is finally available.
I'll be the one who's handing you your watch.
Hang 10 in the 132 horsepower, 16-valve, overhead cam, 4-wheel independent suspension, cab forward, gnarly Dodge Neon Coupe. Dude, say hello to Dodge Neon at your friendly Dodge dealer.
Ross presents holiday dresses, only $29.99.
Do you love it? I love it. I got it at Ross.
Save up to 75% on holiday dresses, including petite and plus sizes. Only $29.99.
Do you love it? I love it. I got it at Ross.
The Ross Holiday Dress Collection. Only $29.99. Don't you just love it?
Now Super Lotto gives you another chance at big money. It's Super Lotto Bonus 7. Buy 5 plays and you'll get a free play for a chance at $200,000. We all inhabit a place that frankly gets on our nerves. We gotta get out of that place. And a celebrity cruise can get us out of that place. Celebrity Cruises, exceeding expectations. Awarded 5 stars by Berlitz and Fieldings.
ABC 7 brings you the 7-day planner as a community service. Monday, October 21st, the Valley Women's Center will host a free community awareness event. Friday, October 25th, the United Filipino Association of the Inland Empire will sponsor a benefit concert performed by the UP Concert Chorus. And Saturday and Sunday, October 26th and 27th, come out and enjoy the 4th Annual Crossroads Orange County Renaissance Festival. Please send your events at least 4 weeks in advance to the 7-day planner, a community service of ABC 7.
There's a new album out by one of America's most celebrated pop stars, and it comes years after her death. Our entertainment reporter, George Pinocchio, here to explain.
Had a fun time doing this one, Harold. Karen Carpenter is one of my favorite all-time singers, so I was thrilled to learn about this new album. Some of the songs have been released before, but this is the first time the original project has been released in its entirety.
Rainy days and Mondays always get me down.
That's the Karen Carpenter we remember. This is the Karen Carpenter you may not recognize.
You're driving me wild. You're making me fall in love.
With brother Richard taking a break from the business, Karen began recording her first solo album in 1979. She did pop, disco-like, even a country tune, but she later decided the timing wasn't right to release it. She made the album with acclaimed record producer Phil Ramone.
I think it was a clear picture for her to try to find not only what was inside of her, but what she wanted to say musically, which was different than what she would have said as a Carpenter.
This lady even sang the blues.
I'll be the one who's handing you your walking shoes. 'Cause I don't really want to be the last one singing the blues.
Because I kept thinking, oh God, when it comes out, if it ever comes out, people are going to think it's some amazing piece that was found. You know, it's a treasure because it's her.
And that's why Ramone says Richard gave his blessing for the album to be heard by Karen's fans.
This girl had every mic technique down. She understood the instrument, her own voice. And it's genuine. It's the key to it is the genuineness of it.
I love you. I'm with you.
The name of the record is Karen Carpenter, and it is currently available in record stores. Harold and Lisa.
How many of us didn't want to be the Karen Carpenter when we were growing up? She was so cool. All right, thanks a lot, George. Well, that'll do it for the 5 o'clock hour, but coming up tonight on Eyewitness News at 11, we'll have the very latest on this brush fire that you're looking at live burning near Hacienda Heights. Until then, for Harold and Todd, Johnny and George, everyone here at Eyewitness News, I'm Lisa McCree. Good night.